Just going to turn that on.
There were people on there when we were.
We are live. Finally, it has been, oh my gosh, over a month since I've gone live. Things were just really crazy with my mom here. It was too hard to do lives with my mom. She did not get the concept of, Mom, you can't be on the internet while I'm doing a live. And she thought as long as she was, I don't know why she thought, well, I'm not on my phone, I'm on my Kindle. Mom, you're still using internet.
Parents are fun.
Oh, so she said, well, I'm just reading. I'm like, but did you leave the Wi-Fi symbol on? Is the Wi-Fi symbol on? Well, yeah, but I'm only reading. I'm like, but Mom, it's still turned on.
That's awesome. Mom,
so,
good.
So that made it kind of difficult to do lives. And it's just been so busy, honestly. It's just been like crazy busy.
Yep.
Just gonna say real quick, hi to Ren's Homestead and hi to Mary Lynn from Little Homestead by the Beach. She will be keeping any trolls out. I guess I'm getting more popular because I'm getting some really creepy trolls.
That's always good.
So Mary Lynn's on the couch with popcorn.
Ooh, I have some cheddar popcorn. I should totally get it after this. Sounds delicious.
So I'll just give everybody a couple minutes to come by. But oh my gosh, yeah, I have got some great news. The roofers told us tonight they will be done tomorrow.
Oh, awesome!
Praise the Lord.
That'd be nice to have them out of there and to have it done.
And to have it is so, and with the new puppy, like we haven't been able to put up our fencing. Our gazebo's on the lawn right now. Our lawn is like so long that we think that's why she's not liking going out, because it's so long she gets lost. Yeah, because we haven't been able to mow. So yes, they said they will be definitely done tomorrow. So the roof is done, the siding is done, and they've got 95% of the gutters. They just got one gutter to do, and then just doing the little things. So I cannot wait to show you all.
I'm excited to see it.
Amazing. Like, what a difference. It looks like we built a brand new house.
Yep. Like, it's like painting a room inside. Just like that coat of paint makes all the difference. Like a new roof is just like, is this even my house anymore?
Yeah. Brand new. Well, we had the roof and siding done. So it literally looks like we built a brand new home.
It is a new house. That's what you did get.
We came home from our anniversary dinner Sunday, and as we're coming down the road, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, look at that. I said, it doesn't even look like our house.
Now I'm way excited. I'm way more excited to see it with the siding.
I can't wait. I can't wait to show it. But yeah, our anniversary dinner, I'm just going to touch on this for a second. David and I, we don't.
Is this a bad experience that you were talking about? Okay.
Yes. We don't eat out a lot anymore. We used to do date nights a lot, and then the end of the world happened. And we stopped. We kind of got out of our date nights, became going through Tim Hortons, which is like a Dunkin' Donuts, getting a tea or cappuccino and taking a ride around. That's what our date nights were for a long time, because that's all we could do. So, and when my mom was here, we ate out a couple of times, but not too crazy. Oh, the prices of eating out is insane right now. And I get it. Believe me. I mean, it only makes sense. If we're paying more for food, well, so aren't the restaurants. And they're paying more for the containers, everything.
Right.
But it was our anniversary. So we thought we'll go out to eat, one meal I don't have to make.
Right.
So we went to, you're not late, Jean. We're just starting. We wanted to go to this place for a while. It's not too far from us, and it's a beautiful spot. It's right on the water, and the inside pictures were beautiful. And we thought we'll eat inside because it was muggy. It'd been raining for 3 days, and by the water, we knew the bugs were going to be crazy. And we figured if it's busy, more people will be eating outside than in. So we get there, and we had reservations. 10 minutes go by and I'm like, okay, finally, because something had happened. They had moved a table on one of the girls, so she couldn't figure out where to put everybody anymore. So they had to figure all that out. Okay, whatever. We're having a good time. We sit down, and I am not blaming the waitress. It's a staffing issue, which is happening everywhere. She had way too many tables for one person. Like, there just wasn't enough staff.
It's a management issue. The manager should have been dealing with it.
Yep. And there was one table behind us with 6 or 8 people. I couldn't quite tell. And they were loud and very needy. That poor girl, it seemed like they needed something every 3 seconds. And the whole restaurant knew it when they needed it. So Dave and I are just kind of looking at one another. We get laughing, right? Just because we can hear their conversations and they're talking about not letting dad go to Costco on his own anymore and everything. Like, and we're just laughing. So finally she gets to us and she apologizes and everything. And we're like, hey, you know, we're out. We're on no time clock. We're having a good time. No problem. I think that was a bad thing to say because
he was like, okay, we can let them wait for a long time.
So we never order appetizers when we eat out because we tried, but we knew like we really didn't get each other anything for our anniversary. So this was kind of our date. So we did decide to get an appetizer. Well, the hostess brings our drinks, but no appetizer. We finally get the appetizer and we barely have it. And
then your food's there.
No, we finished it and it was really good. And 20 minutes goes by, 25 minutes goes by, and we didn't order anything weird. I ordered chicken parm and David ordered a pulled pork thingy. Finally, 35 minutes in, the hostess brings our meal, not our waitress, because she's dealing with the needy table again. And it was awful. It was awful. I had so much noodles. I think they were fettuccine. They weren't cooked. I like al dente, but this was like really al dente and hardly any sauce, so they were dry. I cut into my chicken parm and it is so overcooked. Like it is so overcooked. And I look at Dave and he's like, what's wrong? He says, it's not good, isn't it? And he says, that looks awful, awful dark colored. He said, what the heck? Did they deep fry it? Well, he takes a bite of his ice cold. Ice cold. And I gotta tell you, the prices at this place, we won't go back because the prices alone were like, oh, you're paying for the ambiance, man, because it was insane. Like even the kiddie menu, we were looking at it because we always look because if the kids eat out with us, I have to make sure there's something Aiden will eat on the menu. And it was $10 for a small French fry.
No, it wasn't. And wait, what would that be over here? Like $5 maybe?
Maybe $7 right now with the exchange. Yeah. And we saw the small French fry was like this. It was small. And I'm like, for small, like $10. And if you wanted a second patty on your hamburger, it was $6.50 just for the second.
Oh my goodness!
And David's like, that ends up being like a $22 double hamburger. Like it was. So yeah, so we walked out of there. There's nothing worse than spending the money. I think altogether it came with because we still tipped her, like because I get it. I'm from a family of a lot of people in my family who are waiters and waitresses.
Right. Yeah.
We walked out of there and there's nothing like dropping $80, $90 and feeling like
you're going to go home and eat something because you didn't get what you needed at the $80, $90.
My chickens got my anniversary supper. I brought it home for them.
We had that very similar experience, not at a fancy restaurant though. It was Taco Bell. I'd never been to a Taco Bell. Memphis does not brush his teeth apparently when he tells me he's brushing them. He had to have 2 teeth pulled, 1 capped, and 14 fillings.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Wow.
Anyways, so we go to Taco Bell before we go to his dentist appointment because we didn't want to go to a sit-down restaurant. We know it's not going to be good. It's going to take forever. Taco John's was closed. I can just eat meat and cheese at these places. And so we went in there, and it was the worst food I have ever had. Even Memphis didn't like the quesadilla, and the tater things were covered in this like spicy sauce, like, and it was $45 for just Jake and Memphis and I to eat. And we made a complaint because the staff there was amazing. They were so awesome.
Yeah.
And it was not their fault. Like, this is how they're supposed to put this stuff together, but it was terrible. And I'm not even one to like complain about stuff like that, Like,
I know everyone's like, why didn't you complain? And I'm like, I could have complained. What were they going to do? Because I don't like sending food back because I don't.
But they'll be like, here's a 10% to come back. Like, we don't want to come back. We want our money back. Like
yeah, yeah. And I don't trust the people when you send it back. I've seen too many of those undercover shows where they're spitting in it or whatever, even worse. Yep. So I'm like, I can't send it. So we just, I mean, she did say, she goes, do you want to go? And I'm like, oh yeah. Cause I'm thinking at least the chickens are going to get this. So it's not completely waste.
Our chickens got ours too.
Yeah. So I just, and we were in New York, Niagara Falls, New York, taking my mom back, and we went everywhere we went. There were staffing issues. Bob Evans. We always love Bob Evans. Love Bob Evans.
I mean, but why? I know everybody's blaming it on, the end of the world that happened a couple years ago, but like, why? People still need jobs, though.
There was a sign up at Dunkin' Donuts in Niagara Falls, New York, saying starting $16 an hour full time, and we'll give you benefits. $16 an hour for Dunkin' Donuts, and you get benefits.
I mean, what happened? Like, how did that make it to where staffing is such an issue everywhere?
Everywhere. And there was hiring signs no matter where we went. The Walmart. Oh, yeah, same. We went to both Walmarts. We went to restaurants. We went to Target. We went to everywhere, every store we went in. I'm not kidding. Every store, Dollar Tree, the pet store, every store we went in, there was hiring signs. Hiring everywhere.
But why? How did that impact people from working?
But people don't want to work, and I don't know if they're still getting assistance because of
we don't get assistance.
I don't know if that's. I don't know. I will say, I just everywhere we went, and everywhere had a staffing issue. And like I said, we love Bob Evans. We don't have Bob Evans here in Canada, so it's one of the places we love to eat. And what a letdown it was. We were really, really surprised. A lot of their favorites they no longer have. They don't have the pot pie anymore. This is what you're known for. She said no, they got rid of all of that, she said, from the menu. And I'm like, but that's that's what you're known for. Bob Evans is your pot pie.
That's crazy. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense in my brain that just because of that happening, that people just aren't working now. In fact, I'm trying to help a lady at our Dollar General. I don't work. I work at home. At our Dollar General, she literally, there's always carts full of inventory out, always. And I asked her the other day, when are you going to start putting this stuff out? I want to see what's in it. She's like, I cannot get somebody to get in here and help me. She's got a couple of cashiers or whatever. I'm like, I'll come help you. I'll put stuff away, and then I could look at it while I'm putting it away, So I'm going to go help her. And it's super early in the morning.
I'm just want to ask everybody, is everybody else having a hard time with Tanya, or is it my internet? Is it hers? Because I didn't know anything you just said. It was all robotic and you were frozen, but I don't know if it's on my end.
Oh, now I don't see Lynn. It must be on her end. I don't even have my laptop, so I can't see what's happening. Will someone bring me the laptop out of Ricky's room, please?
Okay.
Lynn, you just went away.
I know. I just went out nowhere, and we've been having this rain has really affected our internet this week.
It did ours too. It hasn't rained for so long, and then our internet was awful the 2 days.
And then we get a summer's worth of rain in 3 days.
Yep. So, but everything here after the rain finally came, everything was the happiest it's ever been. It was just big and green and beautiful. It was awesome.
My garden was exploded. I went out last night and it exploded. I think a little too late for some things, which we'll get into.
Right.
But okay, everybody could hear. But yeah, Jean, if I was a conspiracy nut, which I think I'm starting to become one, I'd almost wonder if this is what they want. They want us not working, so that way they have to have all these programs. And then, of course, the government never gives anything without expecting something.
I mean, but why would anybody want to live like that either way? Even if that is what they wanted, it just doesn't make sense to me. If my kids were little again, I would have to have the money,
Yeah.
They cost way more when they were smaller.
Yeah, I know. For me, and when I lost my job, I had to take time off because I got cancer again right at the beginning of 2020, and I had to have surgeries and all that. And when I went back, things were really bad, and I ended up losing my position. I applied, I kid you not, in one day at 22 places, I got one call for an interview.
That's not a lie. That's not a lie. My friend, he's a single dad, and he is having the same problem. I even he was about to get kicked out of his apartment. He has custody of his daughter. He just got into this apartment a few months ago, worked really hard to get into it. And he was going to get kicked out over $600 behind on the rent or whatever.
I've seen that on your Facebook. Yeah.
Right. He applied at 20 some places the next day and only got one callback out of all of those. What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So sometimes I wonder, is there really a worker shortage? Are there really, and then even though my kids are older, Aiden especially is very busy with track and field and cross country. Right. And David is still, for the most part, full time. One of us has to be able to take him to all these practices and the different things. If I'm working 45 hours again, he's gonna miss out on that.
Right. And that's why I can't work. I quite literally have to run around all the time for the other day, Ashton had a physical at 1. Tomorrow I have to take Callie to the DMV for a school permit, and I have to take Cats to the vet. I have to do those things. That is my job,
Yeah. And even if they are older, I still I like being a stay-at-home mom.
Same. Me too.
I do like being it. At the same time, I also liked earning my own income. And
right.
I do other things. I like coming up next month, I'll be selling my baby and toddler pumpkin and apple hats, which helps a lot for Christmas time.
This is the season. This is my season too of selling the things. Fall and Christmas are the big ones.
Yeah. So I don't need a job. I don't want to sound like we're rich because we're far not.
Right. I'm totally the same.
We're doing okay that I don't need to work too right now.
Right.
Things are better right now. So that makes it a little, I'm very fortunate that way that I can, still,
right.
But someone's got to run him around everywhere and stuff. So we had tons of people that would do odd jobs always on Marketplace. Yeah. And I see there's a lot of people on our local Facebook saying, look, I'm not necessarily a licensed contractor, but for, I've been working as, for 20 years doing all these different things. Does anyone have any jobs to do? We
have the same thing here. People looking for jobs on, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't think there's, a shortage of jobs.
Yeah.
I think people want to work.
I agree. Cause I said, I work more now than I did at my job because I would work my job all day, come home, do supper, usually get a load of laundry in. My day does not end at 4:00.
No, my day doesn't end until my eyes are closed at nighttime.
Yeah. And then it starts pretty darn early.
Yeah. This morning it was 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Which is normal for me, but normally I have time to wake up first. But Jake was supposed to be at work at 5, which meant he should have been leaving at 4. So it was a get up and move your butt situation.
Yeah. I just want to say, and running for Aiden is very important. It is one of his outlets. He needs it. It's definitely one of his coping mechanisms. Tanya, does Jake, is he long haul trucker or does he stay in your area?
No, he stays in the area. And right now they're doing sod. So they have to lay it before it gets to a high temperature. So they have to go in super early in order to lay it. They don't want to lay it after 80 degrees. So they have to go in super soon, but he's done at noon,
Yeah. I kind of rather do that. I think I'd rather go to work earlier.
And then we can still I can go get groceries and stuff with him, but very soon he'll leave at normal time and won't get back until after dark,
My cousin Sean is a truck driver, and he was long haul, but they've really limiting long haul routes now. Now they've got him doing more local area. So yeah.
And they need truckers so bad around here.
So bad. They need them here in Canada too. The problem is they're pumping him out too quick. without 100% training, and we're having driver who, like, they just arrested 2 weeks ago. They arrested a truck driver on our 401, which is like the craziest highway in the world. It literally is. Like, it's horrible. People called in because they're like, this trucker's all over the road. He was sleeping. Sleeping. They pulled him over. He was high. He was drunk. He only had a license to drive a car. He had no trucker's license. The company knew this, so they investigated. It turned out there was quite a few drivers in the company that only had a Class G, which is what I have. That's all they had.
How do you get through all of that? Like, we have to keep logs and stuff here, and like go to weigh stations.
He had no log book. He had no log. They got there was a list of charges, him and the company, and they've shut the company down. But that's scary. He was sleeping, like, on the 401, out cold. Truck is going all over the place. I mean, and look, my uncle was a truck driver for years. I respect them and everything, but man, it's getting. We see way too many accidents happening. With truckers right now on our 401, and it is. I hate going on it. I will take the extra hour or two to drive around it.
Yeah, that is very scary.
So, well, we've been back, I think, when we talked in May or June, we were just starting our starts and getting them into the ground, and everything we had so much hope, just so much hope about, and how things are. We're going to be probably a little bit scary this winter, so we were planning for that. And I think you and I, we both said we like tripled or quadrupled our garden. Everything. Oh, we were going to be so prepared. So my question is to you now. We are almost through August. Can you believe we're almost through August?
No, it's crazy.
I know. And my question to you is, how did your garden do?
I would say my garden did fair, but it definitely did not do what I had envisioned in my mind that it was going to do. And I think a lot of it was the weather. We had stupid hot weather and dry, like cracks in our ground, thick cracks, like inch deep cracks or wide cracks. So I think that contributed to it. I also am still figuring out the soil layout here. Like, for instance, I've found out that sweet potatoes grow better in the front yard. So do our regular potatoes. They don't do very well in the back where our main garden is. So learning where to plant what and where it does best will also be helpful for next year too. And my chamomile did not grow. I got one little thing, and I always have chamomile. It always comes back up.
It's like my favorite thing to grow. And I planted it in like 8 spots in my garden, like all over the yard.
I mean, and it comes back year after year.
Yep.
Don't bite me.
No, my stuff from last year never came back either. I'm gobsmacked. I don't know.
But like, why? I didn't do anything different. In fact, it had more nutrients, fresh spring, lots of nutrients in the soil and stuff. And like, I got one little tiny plant, and I bet I got enough to make 2 cups of tea.
Now, last year I harvested a ton of chamomile and dried it. So I still have a mason jar about this big full.
Yeah, me too.
So I will still have plenty for this year, but I'm so disappointed not to go out and see it. I'll say my garden also, I will say fair. I'm not going to say it was a total disaster because it wasn't. Right. But again, we had the same weather. I mean, we've had 105 and 106 degree days.
Oh, yes.
Which is crazy for us. But what's even crazier is literally until last week, our evenings were in the 50s Fahrenheit still. Like, and that's what, 10 to 12 Celsius. That is like where I'm like, what? Like, I said to David, this is so weird. We get up in the mornings and there'd be time I'd go out and have my tea on the porch. I'd have to put a sweater on.
I open the windows at nighttime. Every night when everybody's asleep, I open all the windows. I shut the air off, and it's cooler outside than it is in our house.
Crazy. I just, and the main things I love to grow, bell peppers, they don't like being too cold.
No, and my bell peppers were really small this year. I didn't get any of them to be like big. But I also didn't plant until like Father's Day weekend, except for my potatoes and some of my herbs. I planted those early, so we harvested those early.
It was definitely, we usually plant our long weekend in May, which is the weekend before Memorial Day weekend for you. And I couldn't pretty much plant anything that weekend. I was
Right.
a
Because
good,
of the weather. It was like
yes.
cold and dumb for a long time. And then you had to wait.
And then we got hit with this insane heat and no rain. Like we've had rain the last 5 days. We had no rain the whole month of July. And until this last few days, August, we were going to go we were actually in a drought. We were in a fire ban. Our area is calling the rain we've had the last week $1 million rain, because all the farmers in our area, if they didn't get rain this week,
they were sure.
They were done.
It was the same way here. It rained solid for 2 days, like rain.
Poured.
Yeah.
Our chicken coop is a mud puddle right now.
Like flooded us out of, like, our state fair was going on. It flooded the swine barn. It flooded big intersections because the ground's so dry. It couldn't absorb it as fast as it was coming down, you know?
Yeah.
Postponed our first football game for hours. Oh my goodness, for hours.
You know, I had some mistakes this year too, because I thought I planted my little pie pumpkins and my crookneck squash far enough apart. I didn't. They've crossed.
Oh, is that what that was?
That's what that is. I've got 3 or 4 more different shapes, different colors, growing. I'm keeping them. I'm not going to eat them, but I'm going to use them as my fall decorations.
Right. Yep.
But I goofed. I
got fall decorations. I got ornamental gourds. I don't know. I think that's what they're called, ornamental gourds.
Yep.
They kind of look like a gourd and they just have like bumps on them.
Yep.
I got a whole bunch of those off of that plant. And I have some pumpkins happening. Like, everybody please cross your fingers, because I spend so much money on pumpkins and stuff every fall. And I just want to grow them myself.
I want to grow them, and I eventually want to get good enough at it that I can sell them in the fall.
Right.
Because
those people will probably make awesome money.
Nothing against our local places, but it's insane what they are charging.
And they're not organic. So if you're feeding them to your animals, everybody, I see people like, I'll take your jack-o'-lanterns, I'll give them to my goats, I'll give them to my chickens. Like, they've probably been sprayed a minimum of 11 times throughout the course of them growing.
And then you've got
you don't want to give them to
them. People are dipping them in bleach now so they don't rot, which is fine. But you need to tell people, I dipped these in bleach. Because you're going to kill your animals if they eat that.
And there's some people that use jack-o'-lanterns for pies. Like, I've used jack-o'-lanterns for pies. Yep. I never would have thought that people were spraying them and bleaching them and stuff.
Yep. I will say a couple of places we have, they are organic that you buy them from. Like, but you don't, like, for the most part, people are not getting them from there. But I'll tell you something that's funny. We weeded the pumpkin patch, and since we weeded it, they are not doing good. All of a sudden, all my pumpkin, I should have left them alone.
Yes, that is what I have learned this year, is to just leave the pumpkins alone. Like, I have been helping pollinate them, because for a minute I didn't have any female flowers at all male flowers. Now I've got female flowers, so I've been like helping pollinate them, but I do not mess with them otherwise. Like, just leave everything alone.
I wish we'd left them alone, because they're not doing well. And here we are, end of August, and I had a ton of flowers, and it doesn't look like any pumpkins have come out. Maybe I had all male flowers.
I mean, and that is a like extreme weather cause. Like, the extreme heat causes that.
Yeah. And it's funny. You can water. Like, I water my garden.
Me too.
For hours every day, and yet we get a day of rain, and all of a sudden the garden explodes.
Right? Like, what's so good about this plant? Like, why is the rain so much better?
So I will say, my potato experiment of growing my potatoes in the totes worked wonderful.
Yeah, like, potatoes been awesome this year.
Yeah, I have 3 more totes to dig up, which with the rain I haven't been able to. So I'm hoping this weekend it's supposed to be beautiful. So I'm going to be doing that. But yeah, my calendula. Now that the one single
mine didn't grow.
Mine did. The single seed I did, I've harvested off of that. Well, just a minute.
Nice.
I just harvested this.
I'm so jealous.
And that's the 5th time. Like,
that's awesome.
And that's from that single seed. And I
planted
a whole bunch
so
more.
much calendula, like 2 packets of calendula. Not one even came up.
Mine are all the ones I planted at, like that one I started in the house because it was a single seed challenge. The rest are all this big. I don't know. I might, because they can handle a little bit of cool.
Right.
So you might get some in the fall, but they'll come back next year. So I'm, if I don't get anything, I'm getting enough off of this one. So I'm pretty happy.
I also
But
learned something else, I think, throughout all this. So my brother and I always compete with our gardens, like we're in some championship competition. And I always start my stuff from seeds, like some pride thing, like I need to start them from seed and I need to do all the things. My brother never does that. He always just goes and buys starts. And I think I'm just gonna buy starts. Because first of all, remember how much time we took early spring, like so much time and so much space to like start everything. And then to have our garden poop on us at 3 months later,
Yep. I know I get to this point where, and even I love how Jessica says, she's from Three Rivers Homestead. She says, we need to always stop saying sustainable and start using the phrase community sustainable. So we go out to our community and not only help them make a living, but to take some, like she said, you don't have to grow every single thing.
Right.
She said, there's some things she can't grow. She's given up. She said, they're not going to grow for me. I'm not growing them. And I think I was getting so caught up in wanting to do everything myself as much as I could, especially where we don't do a lot of our animals, right? We don't grow yet. I'm this close to talking David into meat chickens. Maybe not this year, but next spring.
We just got some meat chickens. We were not going to get them, and they are much smarter this time. I don't know if they came from a different hatchery. Wait until you do get them. Meat birds are like not smart.
No, I know.
Not like regular chickens.
They're ugly. I'm sorry.
And they are ugly, but they're cute. Like I love going in and petting them. They let you catch them and stuff, and they're so hungry all the time. But we ended up getting 15 of them just because they were at the Tractor Supply place, and we're like, okay, let's get some meat birds. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah, part of it is stubbornness too, because I do, but I already know what I'm doing different next year, and we're actually planning quite a reno project with our garden. David has been drawing up plans and ideas, and I told him he better follow through with this because he's got me all these big dreams now of looking at this thing. So
Jake is like not the gardener, like he's the fence fixer, the dig me a hole, like he's cannot garden.
Me and he's like, you really need this, and so I'm like, oh, like this. So our plan this winter is we're going to buy supplies a little bit at a time every couple of weeks, so it's not so hard on the budget. And get it
because it can get very expensive, and I think that's why another part of why I grew everything from seed, because I don't want to go spend $30 on starts,
But then I found Richter Herbs, which is a Canadian company. They do seeds, but they sell a ton of starts, which I actually got quite a few of my starts from them, and they were reasonable. Like I couldn't believe how much cheaper. Like I got my tomatillo starts from them, which by the way, I picked my first batch of tomatillos yesterday. Nice. I got my Amish paste tomato starts for them because all my starts died.
Yeah. Like my tomatoes are doing awesome. Like they're just now finally going. Mine finally.
Too. Yeah, my peppers actually, I got quite a few bell peppers last night. Good size. Mine are never completely they're always a little bit longer than they are round.
Ours are too, and they're like weird shaped, like sometimes narrower down at the bottom.
Like the kinds you can buy, I don't know if it's a different, like if it's a GMO brand or something. So
it's very much like a commercialized, factory project. You know what I mean? Like it's very much not like Lynn and Tanya growing peppers in their garden. It's a mass production.
Yeah. Jean, I've seen a couple of videos with tomato jam, and I'm like, maybe I'll try that this year. I'm thinking about it.
Jam, like sweet?
I don't think it's, I think it has a little bit of sweetness, but it's more on the savory side.
Did you know I'm allergic to tomatoes?
Are you?
And I'm allergic to oranges, but I eat them both all the time.
I will say I made a big mistake last year. When I did my tomatoes, I left the skins on because I'm like, oh, okay, we can leave the skins on and I'll immersion blend them or whatever.
Right.
Turns out I did not know that people can be very sensitive to the skins.
Yep.
David and I are extreme. Like we had acid reflux. Like we've never, wake us up out of a dead sleep. not to be too graphic, our throats burning, sour in our mouth, and like I'm in tears because the pain was unreal. So come to find out, tomato skins. And I'm like, seriously. So like, it sucks because 12 jars of salsa I had to dump out because I literally could not eat it. I wanted to take the skins this year and dehydrate them so I can make a tomato powder. But now I'm wondering if I dehydrate them and powder them, if it will still affect us.
So do you have regular chickens, like layers, right?
Yep.
They could eat the skins. I gave my chickens peach skins today. We give our chickens everything.
Everything for the most part. They've been loving harvesting this last week because I've been giving them.
I literally give them everything: meat, bones, dairy. Do you have cream cheese or frosting? It's not like the greatest thing to give your chickens frosting, but they like it. You need to take a little dish of it out to your chickens and watch them eat this cream cheese or some frosting. It's like watching a little kid on their first birthday smashing their cake and putting it in their face. It's the coolest thing.
I'm just going to catch up on some things here. I'm wearing. Oh yeah, I love that's one thing I will say I want to get more of, the stacker pots.
I still haven't got those. And now that I can go to a Dollar Tree, I want to get the Dollar Tree ones. Unless I can go to Greenstock and have them like send me one.
Yeah, I know. Sponsor us. Yeah. I went because when we were in New York, I went to Dollar Tree. That's one of the reasons I wanted to go there. It was gone because it's this time of year.
Yeah.
So I'm literally going to plan a spring shopping trip, and I'm going to look for those pots because then I can just buy them. But I will say these ones I got were very reasonable. They're called Mr. Stacky planters. They're actually made in USA. They're on Amazon.
Yeah, they don't need to be the brand name ones, like planters or planters.
No. Yeah, and I paid. Well, I bought 4, and I did not pay for all 4 what one of those tower pots were.
Yep, that's awesome.
And I love them. Herbs were amazing in it this year. I'm going
to put my herbs in them next year because my herbs get so like lost in all of the craziness.
That's another thing I will say. Yeah, Mary Lynn, I was just going to bring this up. I am not the greatest weeder. I'm not.
I don't weed on purpose. Like I'm an intentional not weeder.
And it definitely got away from me a little bit this year. Not in any of my raised beds. I didn't get any in them. They were great. But the things in the ground definitely got away from, especially my strawberry
because
patch.
Who wants to be outside when it's 110 degrees out?
Weeding,
you know?
Especially for that reason.
And like they always say, like, make hay when the sun shines. Like, do it when you have time. But also, I don't want to be outside in the dark when it's not 100 degrees outside in the morning either.
I harvested my garlic in a 98 degree temperature. I got a little bit of heat stroke.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy. You cannot. It's just too hot.
Yeah. So
plus, those weeds really help. Like, I know that they suck, and sometimes they can hinder the growth and stuff like that. But it will definitely help in the heat of everything to cool things down, especially if they're a little bit taller than what you're growing.
Yeah.
It can help some things.
Yeah. So my loofah. Now let's talk about loofah because I know.
Let's talk about loofahs.
I planted 3 I actually started more than 3. 3 survived out of my starts. I planted 3. 2 have died. 1 is doing great. It's flowering, which, by the way, the flowers are beautiful.
I know, right?
Wow. But they're flowering literally this week. I don't think there's no way there's going to be unless we have an unusually warm October, but they're saying our first frost prediction is October 4th.
That's ours is the 15th. So very similar.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm really disappointed because I really, really wanted to try to have a couple to dehydrate to use for washing dishes or whatever.
So next year we have to get stuff in the ground. Like if it's raining and if it's cold, we still need to put it in the ground.
Somehow.
Yes.
We'll have to make a pact next year and we'll have to like keep each other accountable.
Yes.
And say, did you
get some galoshes and a raincoat and we have to go put our stuff in, like our loofahs and the things that take longer to grow.
Yeah, and I will say, and the bugs, I know, like I literally put up with them last night to pick what I could, and I got covered. Just covered. And not to sound like, a big whiner, but itching for me is a trigger because it was one of the symptoms of my cancer, having an
right?
itch. So when
And
I
itching
start
isn't awesome
itching,
in general.
when I start itching, I'm like, Lynn, it's just bug bites. It's just bug bites. Like I literally have to talk myself down. But
Yeah.
I stayed out as long as I could last night and harvested as much as I could because I'm like, I got to get out here. And I can't during the day because we're back up into 95 and 98 again this week.
Yep. It's been hot here
crazy.
too. I haven't even been outside to look at my plants today. I did chores this morning and ran kids around and have not been out to the gardens.
Yeah, no, I know, Marilyn. I hate that too, like putting on the bug spray and then I got to go take another shower because I don't want to sit on my furniture or anything all day with it on.
We don't use bug spray. We just suffer.
Well, this is natural bug spray that I use, but even so, I still don't. I will say I have this cream that my mother recommended. It's called Fruit of the Earth.
Oh.
You can get it at Walmart. It's dirt cheap. It's like,
right.
Like 2 containers for $5 and something. It's a vitamin B blend. Oh my gosh. I put it on my bug bites and the next morning they're gone. I kid you not.
Plantain. You can use plantain too out of your yard. Okay. Put on your bug bite and instantly it'll be gone. Well, not gone, but it won't itch.
Yeah. Avon always had the skin so soft. I was going to say.
That's what my grandma always sprayed on us. And I love the smell of it.
My grandmother used to literally spray it on her screens, her window screens.
Yep. I would get Skin So Soft just so I could smell it again.
Yeah.
And their bubble bath, the Avon bubble bath.
Yes. Actually, I used to sell Avon, and Avon bubble bath, a capful, you could use that bubble bath. They would give us a list of things. It was like for 30 things, and one of them, it's a great laundry soap.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
A capful would wash your clothes, and you can get it even unscented, but you could get it in so many scents. It was
my
so
grandma
crazy.
always had the pink bottle is the one she always had.
My grandmother always had the purple bottle. But it's Fruit of the Earth, Jean, and it comes in. I get mine. You can get it on Amazon, but our Amazon was ridiculous. I don't know what it is on the American Amazon, but Walmart in the States sells it because I stocked up when I went, and it's a 2-pack. Actually, let me see if I can get my daughter to grab it while we're chatting. Just a second.
Okay.
It's insanely cheap. And my father's been using it for his eczema, and he usually is on like a high steroid and everything. He hasn't had
plantain. I'm gonna send you plantain salve, and you have to send it to your dad.
Oh, yeah, he like Grace has it too.
I'm gonna send you more. I gave some to a lady this morning for her chicken or her goose that got attacked.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like secret superpower medicine for skin. It's amazing.
That's crazy.
I literally got stabbed with a rusty, poopy pitchfork, and I did not have any problems.
Jeez, yeah. That's one of the reasons. I mean, I made Gracie her own calendula cream to help her with hers.
I have some calendula cream and some goldenrod. I think is goldenrod.
Goldenrod is blooming like crazy here.
I'm planted so much goldenrod, and then none of it came up.
Oh, it's growing like wild here, like everywhere. If I could send you some, I would, but I don't think they'll let me send that in the mail.
My friend sent me some dried goldenrod so I could use it in like oils and stuff like that. So I've got some oil to make salve with it. But I want my own goldenrod, and I want my own elderberries. Like I want those.
Oh, let's talk.
I saw yours.
Oh my gosh. For one, I love elderberries. I am a huge believer. I'm not an expert by any means. Do your own research. But elderberries for us in the winter here, I have got my parents who don't believe in hardly anything natural. I've got them like they even start to get a few little sniffles. They go right to the elderberry stuff now.
Yep.
My mother's like, okay, even your father's convinced. Like they told everybody about it. I planted my elderberry trees just from little itty bitty plants that I bought from a organic farm here a couple years ago, hydroponic farm.
Right.
I'm going to say 5 years ago, I think it was. This year, like last year, I got my first this year, like bumper crop. Like
that's awesome.
Holy crap. And I've got more that I definitely got to harvest. they're just not quite ready. So I'll get another.
We broadcasted seeds because there went my Tanya. You're not going to buy a started elderberry. You're going to plant them from seeds. So then I watched all these videos on how to start your elderberry seeds, and they literally just say cast them out, they'll grow, and nothing is happening.
I'm just like, I've never seen them wild here. I've never really looked, but I've never like literally seen them anywhere.
And make sure they're not pokeberries. If you're seeing them out in the wild, make sure they're not poke plants.
I know there's some that, and like the blossoms this year, my trees were covered. I've never seen so many blossoms. Like
that's awesome.
Crazy. But yeah, just right. I just wanted to say hi to Remy, because I know I seen Rem came in, and hello, Gathered Together Homestead. Thanks for dropping by. I've been doing some research into goldenrod, and I've seen how it supposedly helps with inflammation and nerve pain and stuff. Yep. And I suffer from that a lot. I have neuropathy.
Oh yeah, Olivia from Olivia's Romantic Home has that too. That link I sent you.
And it's so painful. And reading up on it, goldenrod oil is supposed to, like, infused with it, is supposed to be one of the good things to help with that. So I am going to go out harvesting goldenrod this weekend, dry it up, and I'm going to try some infused oil and stuff. So
maybe I need to do some more research on how to, because some seeds are kind of tricky to get to sprout, like the Malabar spinach. Like some people will be real cocky on YouTube and be like, just put them in the dirt and they will grow. And that's literally not that simple. You kind of have to like baby them for a minute, you know? So maybe goldenrod is kind of tricky, but I planted so much goldenrod. It should be covering places that I don't want it to be in.
It's literally, I mean, my neighbor even next door, like right where our border is, I'm going to just because I know he's not going to care, because most people consider it a weed.
And I read a thing today that there's like laws in certain states that if something is like growing in your yard but hanging over your fence into your neighbor's property or onto the sidewalk, that it is legal for them to like take whatever is hanging over the side of the fence.
Now here, if things are hanging over the fence, you're allowed to chop it and cut it and everything. So that is absolutely, but it wouldn't surprise me, because the world is ludicrous right now.
I would never do that. I would never go up to someone else's stuff and cut it or take it ever.
Yeah. I mean, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, our neighbors have got a gorgeous big old maple tree. Love it. Fall is my jam. Love fall.
Dang.
September 1st,
I love summer, but I really love fall.
Yeah, there's no bugs. It's usually still warm enough. You can enjoy being outside. Things are still growing a little bit. And
I like wearing jeans. I'm a jeans girl. I hate wearing shorts.
Yeah, me too. I don't really wear shorts in the summer. I really don't.
Right.
I wear
until it's 110 degrees, and then you really don't have a choice.
Yeah. And I love my cups of tea, and I like hot cocoa, and I love baking, and all the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I love it.
I even got Thanksgiving plates. I have not been to a store in so many years, like to an actual store to actually shop. I got so much fall stuff. I'm going to do a video on it.
Yeah, I froze a bunch today as part of my Ribbit Counts challenge. I froze a bunch today. I usually dry them, but I thought I'm going to freeze this batch. And I saved a bunch, and I know they're going to lose some of their nutritional value, but I'm trying elderberry jelly tomorrow. It's dripping right now into my bowl all night, because I thought they smell good. I like the taste of them and my syrups and everything. But I'm going to try and make tinctures this year, because the one thing I find about the syrup is it makes so much that it ends up going bad long before we go through it all. So
have I told you who I watch for tinctures and She is of the Woods.
I love her. Thank you.
She's
so
amazing.
I love her, and I love her whole attitude about, anybody can learn this,
right?
And do this, like
you don't have to go to school to learn how to do this. Like you can just go do this.
Yeah, I just that's what it's like all summer long, almost shorts weather where they are, but it's like David said, I David really hates the heat. Like, I live with a polar bear.
Jake does too. He hates it as well.
He does not get cold. He does not get cold.
Right? Jake likes the cloudy, rainy, cold days.
And like David said, there's nothing he hates worse than sitting, doing nothing, and sweating. Like, I'm not even doing anything, and I'm sweating. Like, he hates.
I would have to say that I also don't like sitting and sweating, and I enjoy summertime.
Yeah. Now, see, Mary Lynn, I wouldn't mind 70-ish.
Wait, where is it 70 all summer? Because I need to move there. I want to actually move to like
she's in Quebec.
I can't move to Quebec. But I want to move to like Maggie Valley. Where is that in Tennessee? Is that where that's at? Alexa, where is Maggie Valley at?
Maggie Valley,
North Carolina. That's like Justin Rhodes, Jessica Goldschlaw Farms area. Alexa, stop. Jeez,
I'm just writing down this off-grid with Doug and Stacy. Thank you, Jinko. I'm just going to write this down, off-grid.
Speaking of Doug and Stacy, I watched her fermented salsa stuff. I've done a lot of fermented salsas, but they don't last very long. They last a couple of like weeks after we open them. After they're done fermenting and we open them, they only last a couple of weeks. She's talking about lactic acid in her video that she made today, but then she like doesn't tell me like when she puts the lactic acid in or how much she puts in there. She does talk about putting a tablespoon or whatever of salt in it. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it, but I seriously watched that video 4 times today. So I need to go. Have you ever done lactic acid?
No.
And I cannot find Pomona's pectin anywhere here. Nowhere has Pomona's pectin.
The only way I could get it was at my natural food stores. That's the only place I could find it. But apparently Amazon, especially in the States, you can buy it in bulk pretty cheap.
I'm going to get it. We usually have like next day shipment. So
yes,
I'm going to get it.
Apparently it was actually Jean who told me that Amazon has it in bulk. My Amazon, because everything in Canada is so expensive.
Her Alexa is answering her.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hate when people do that and talk to their Alexa and mine hears her.
I have, we're not real big on fermented stuff here for the most part, like hardly any of, like not a lot of it. The kids will actually drink kefir or kefir, however you say it.
Yeah.
They actually, surprising, they will drink it. They love it, which even Aiden will drink it, which shocks.
Well, we don't necessarily like it per se. We don't dislike it. And it's definitely stuff that we add in to.
Yeah. I mean, it's good for you. That's
the only reason we do it is because it's good for you. And I like ended up getting these Smarty Pants. I did a search, like what is the most healthy vitamins that you can get?
That's what my kids were on for a long time. That's what they were taking.
Well, this one is a prebiotic and a probiotic.
Yep.
So because they don't want to eat fermented salsa, you know, so that's what we're gonna do.
We have I gotta get tougher with Aiden with his vitamins again because he needs to be taking them and he hasn't been. And then like today I went into the store because school started back up, you know. I know
I went in the store
from yesterday before our school goes back in.
Well, I was looking for a perm kit so I could perm Memphis's mullet because I still can't find a perm kit anywhere. And this lady comes around the corner and she's like, do you know if they have COVID tests here? I cannot find them anywhere. I'm like, actually, no, my friend tested positive today. He wanted to test his daughter. He can't find one here in town anywhere. And she's like, oh, my son is sick with something. And I just wanted to test him, and they won't test him at urgent care unless, you know, he has all these symptoms. I'm thinking, like, then why don't you have a mask on him or something? Like, or leave him at home? Like, why did you bring him out here? Standing right next to me.
I will say my father found out. He went because my aunt was sick while my mom was visiting us, and he went to get her kit just in case. It turned out she didn't have it. But they told him at the pharmacy that, we're going to give you this one, but starting in a week or two, it has to go through your insurance starting soon. And if not, they're $150 a piece. Nobody's going to test themselves anymore.
No, we have like 6 of them. We didn't test ourselves anyways because we would go to the doctor, test one, and then we would just know that that's what we all have, you know?
Yeah. And I'm just saying a couple people. So Jean says Amazon has Pomona Pectin in bulk and Amish stores. We don't have Amish stores. Do you guys?
We do have an Amish store, and I actually want to go there because like Doug and Stacy, you know how Doug has the Amish clothes?
Yeah.
We need some shirts made, so we want to see if they will do that for us. So Jake's been wearing like dress shirts underneath his bibs to work in, and he says that it's a complete game changer, like even cooler than wearing a t-shirt.
Oh wow.
So he wants a couple of shirts like Doug has.
Yeah. They who is it? Freedom Homestead. I like watching her and Tangi. And she does a lot of shopping at the Amish stores. And I'm like, oh man, I wish we had these Amish stores. Because she gets really good deals on, especially organic foods and stuff. Like she'll get a good deal. So yeah, I know it's still processed stuff, but the organic process is still better than the non.
Right,
so
for sure.
I get comments about, well, that's still not Whole Foods. Look, I have 2 teenagers who.
Right, and people don't understand that. Like today, I bought cinnamon toast sprinkles.
You know, they were.
Oh, isn't it Cinnamon Toast Crunch that Aiden eats all the time?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, yep.
So they had buns on sale today for 59 cents a pack at the store. So I bought like 10 of them. And we went through the spice section, and they had Cinnamon Toast Crunch sprinkle stuff. You know how you do cinnamon sugar toast? But this was Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavored.
I'm getting bothered. Just I swear to God, this place would fall apart if I wasn't around.
Oh, I know that feeling so well.
Yeah. Good grief. Yeah, just cotton shirts breathe just like long johns. They work to keep you warm in the winter and cool in the summer. And you wouldn't think, but David's always saying, like, he always sees like the roofers with their shirts off. And like he says, you actually stay cooler because the sweat cools your body. So if you got your shirt on, and he's always saying, people always think that, you know, to go topless means you're going to be cooler, but it doesn't work that way.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm trying. It's not working.
I laid down the law the other day. I burnt all of my boys' stuff and left them with clothes and blankets.
Yeah. For me, I didn't find out about healthy eating until I got sick the first time with cancer. By then, the kids were already used to eating a certain way.
Right.
Grace was a lot easier. Sometimes Grace worries me because she really takes it. Thank you, hon. She really takes it to the extreme and can make it sometimes hard if we're out somewhere or if we're away for a couple of days. You know, it's not going to
I'm the same way. I will not stray away. I don't care if I'm at a restaurant or a gas station. If they don't have something healthy, I just won't eat.
And we tell her too, is that you have to live your life still too. Like, I mean, you know, but Aiden, with his dietary issues, and this is very common with Tourette's kids. This is why so many people think their child might have autism, because there is a lot of things that go in and in.
I mean, even ADHD has a lot of the same traits as both of those. I
do my best I can. I make sure he has the healthy options he does like. I make sure we have them. And, you know, he's obviously okay. He's 6'1".
Right. Right.
And he's very active. Like, I mean, he works out. Like, we've set up the gym in the garage, and he's very religious about doing that and taking care of himself that way. But I mean, you know, so yeah, I do get comments, you know, well, those granola bars, they may be organic, but they're still processed. Yeah, but they're not full of chemicals and a lot of corn syrups and everything. So you have to, you know, if it was just my husband and I, it'd be a lot easier.
We would just eat meat and vegetables and fruit all day long. But that's not a thing.
You know, Aiden doesn't even like homemade cookies. He'd rather have the Chips Ahoy.
Right.
Like, really?
How are you gonna put me out there like that?
Huh?
Why are you gonna expose me like that?
No, I'm not giving up chocolate either. I'm not. I love chocolate.
Oh, I gave up chocolate. I quite literally do not eat sugar. I just do not. I just don't.
And no, I'm not giving up cheese either. I'm not giving up cheese.
I eat cheese. I definitely eat cheese.
I was doing fasting, but fasting was getting hard for me because with my mom here for one, and when David has off, we like to have tea, especially this time of year, out on the porch or out on the deck together.
Right.
And, you know, if I couldn't have anything until noon, well, then it's too hot to have tea out on the porch.
Right.
What I'm just trying to do now is just low carb. I'm really just trying to watch my carb intake because my Irish genes, you know.
Me too. I love carbs. I even got some chickpea flour today because I eat chickpea pasta because I can't eat regular. I choose to not eat regular noodles, like spaghetti noodles. So I got chickpea pasta, and I want to get some einkorn flour so I can make myself some bread because it's got such a much lower like glycemic whatever. You know what I mean? So, but nowhere sells that. So it must be with the Pomona's pectin on Amazon.
No, I'm tired of always worrying too. Like, oh my gosh, about losing weight and stuff. Like, I'm so sick of this.
Mine's definitely not a weight thing. Mine's definitely like, I don't want to die. I don't want to get diabetes. I don't want, whatever other problems come along with eating poorly.
I'm just reading what Jean did. She said she took the leftover frosting with graham crackers, broke them in half, and made frosting sandwiches. She said they went nuts for the sandwiches and nobody ate the cupcakes.
Yeah, our kids love frosting on graham crackers. Love frosting on graham crackers.
And part of that too is they're neat looking, right? It's something different. So I just want to show this is that stuff.
Oh, I have that stuff. It's vitamin E. I put it on my feet.
Yes, me too. And I'm telling you, I get bug bites. I put this on, no bug bites, no itching.
And put it on your heels, and you have soft heels.
Yep, I've been doing that. I use it on my face. My dad is loving it. And it comes in a pack of 2, one on top of the other. And I think I paid $5.16 at Walmart. So that is like, I can't even make a cream for that.
No, that's awesome.
Okay, yeah. No, so it's just funny though, because I don't want to be scared about what's coming this winter. Okay, I don't.
Like what though? Like what people are talking about? Because I kind of got into that too. Like maybe I need to be concerned, and maybe we do need to be concerned, but like still nothing has happened.
I know, and they keep saying, but here, September 1st, for instance, our milk is going up again. And
right, prices continue to go up, but like nothing like emergency world crashing has happened.
They keep saying, well, like for instance, we're on a payment plan for our heat. We have natural gas here in our part of Canada. Yeah. And for like the last 4 or 5, maybe even longer, we've been here 8 years, so maybe like 7 years. We've had pretty much the same payment plan because I'm pretty good, especially where it's just Grace and I now at home during the day. I'm pretty good about, I put on another layer before I turn up the heat. And then if it's still cold, then it's cold kind of thing. So for like 8 years, we paid $86 a month. I got an email last week telling me, due to the rising cost of everything, we are no different, blah, blah, blah. There'll be a slight increase this year. I'm like, okay, we're probably going to go maybe to $95, maybe about $10 more. I got my email 2 days later with my new payment plan, $140.
That's like almost double.
And I'm like, that's not slight. That's not slight at all. And I'm really debating about pulling out of the payment plan because we usually end up being completely even, or they owe us a little bit of money at the end of the year. But I'm worried if the price has gone up that much, I don't know, like I could have like a $300 bill in like.
Oh, ours is that much already. But ours is different pricing than yours, I guess. But like, do you have a fireplace at all?
We have an electric fireplace, and our electric's not.
I mean, but it's still a bill, Yeah.
And electricity here, it can get pretty bad. Like I do my best. I'm the light Nazi. Like if you're not in a room, damn it.
I am a light Nazi too, but look at this hallway light on. I'm sure every light in the house is on all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely. And
was that Jean that just said that to think positively? I love her.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, and
She's true. That's a true statement.
Yep. And I will say, like, I'm doing things like canned. Of course, I wouldn't grow my own, but I don't grow enough for the whole season because it's my first time.
Right.
our canned red kidney beans with no salt, because with my high blood pressure, I don't buy anything with salt. That way I can
You
add
even
my
have
own
beans.
protein.
You didn't tell them about your beans.
Oh yes, my
Lynn.
red kidney beans. So, but they were 97 cents a can at Walmart 2 weeks ago. I bought like 8 cans. I'm like,
Yes.
yep, you're going
I
right in the
literally
slug
bought
pile.
10 packs of buns today because they were 59 cents, and that's not a thing right now. And
Wow.
it said 59 cents, this cart only, and I left 5 or 6 packs in there because I could see people eyeballing it. But Raylan's
Yeah.
like, we need this many buns. I'm like, yes, we need this
Yeah.
many buns.
Yes. No, I'm shopping differently. I used to shop
Right.
pretty much for the whole month at once and then just
Same.
fill in little things. Now I'm shopping almost weekly because
Oh yeah, and
I'm shopping
because like you have to
sales.
hit those deals or you're gonna
Yep.
miss out.
Yeah. So we did stock up when we were in the States. Because I'm hoping I'm going to try to start my own pantry challenge myself early this year, because we have some things we're trying to save for. So I'm hoping not to have to buy as much from now until December.
Like my freeze dryer savings has just kind of stopped because with all the kids being in sports and school starting and stuff, like that's where our extra money is going, is to school clothes and school. You know, it cost me $100 to put Memphis in football, and that's just to register him for football.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't include his cleats and all, and mouth guard and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I don't think we're going to leave it because I'm worried about what the bill will be. Because 140 is a lot easier to come up with than 300 or 400. So I'm just thinking, natural gas and electric are on the same bill. My budget plan went up 120 a month. That is crazy.
For our propane that runs our heater, we pay $100 a month because we're in like a budget billing plan. But I had to pay $250 before the end of last month to like lock that price in.
Yeah.
So
I just want to show. So this is my first year.
Yeah. That's
Let's see
amazing.
Look at them. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I grew kidney beans.
That's a victory right there. Like our chamomile didn't grow, but Lynn grew some beans.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It worked. And I planted them quite a few places. My soldier beans, I by mistake picked a few. So I definitely got more of them. I'm hoping to get out tomorrow. We'll see what the weather is going to be like. They are calling for rain. But I'm just going to say something real quick about, for the longest time, I thought electric cars were great too. I'm like, what? So I went and did my research. And I know I'm going to call this wrong because I am not a science geek. Aiden, what's the stuff they put in the electric cars? It's not lithium.
Lithium?
Is
Jake
it
said
lithium?
lithium.
Okay.
Jake said lithium.
So lithium is mined by slave labor children that they send down into the mines because they're small enough. And we're talking about 6 years old little bitty babies. And you get cancers and all kinds of bad things. They send them down into those mines to mine that.
Fossil fuel.
Yeah.
He said not to mention the millions of dollars worth of fossil fuels to get it out, is what Jake said.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. They are not. And I am so convinced that the powers that be all have stake in these electric cars, and that's why they're pushing them, because they're going to make a buttload of money off of them.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. 100% they're going to.
Yeah. And I just think of those little bitty babies down there mining this lithium so you can drive your Tesla or whatever it is.
They just not have a choice. Like they have to do that. Like who's making them do that?
Well, what is it?
The government?
Yeah. Well, California is banning. They're saying that you're going to have to pretty much switch over to electric car by a certain date.
I mean, the little kids mining the lithium.
Oh, mining. Yeah. Yep. Their parents are either selling them or they're being kidnapped, whatever it is, and they're being forced down into the mines like it's horrible. So how can you feel good? Oh, I'm doing all this good for the environment, which you really are. By the way, there's a story from my home state of Maine. This couple bought their daughter who was graduating high school an electric Ford. And she was so excited. She had it less than 3 weeks, stopped working. They took it in. She needs a new battery. $15,000 for a new battery.
Oh my goodness.
They cannot get one. There's like not, the guy said they're so far behind on production.
And could they even afford that? Because we wouldn't. We'd be like, let's sell the car.
It cost them $2,800 to get this 8-year-old electric car. And it's sitting in their driveway. It's a paperweight. So yeah. I'm gonna go for
I'm telling you, we're gonna get horse and buggy too. Like
all
actually,
these aren't so stupid now, are they?
no, they've never been stupid. I mean, we don't have to follow their like religious rules, but we can live
Nope.
like they're living.
Let's not even talk about all of the grid is currently having trouble keeping up right now. Let's plug, I don't know, 320 million electric
Right.
cars in.
Jake's saying the grid's already having. I mean, they're even talking about like scheduling shut off times for when you're running the air conditioner or the heaters and stuff. So like, why would we produce a bunch of electric cars that we have to plug in?
And
30 years of being sustainable and good.
And nobody cares about the earth doing any of these things. Like not one person is caring about the earth.
what is it? It's
private jet.
Right.
yeah, exactly. Justin Trudeau, our prime minister, is harping about paper straws and all this. The month of July, he flew over 27,000 kilometers. Just him. And then his entourage had a second plane traveling. So don't be preaching to me, Mr. Prime Minister, about paper straws when you are flying in your plane 27,000 kilometers in 1 month. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm
That's
sorry. I don't
crazy.
mean it. I get angry. So I can't talk about it because it drives me insane.
Well, and I'm like a very black or white person. So I'm like, no, somebody needs to make this stop. Like, why is this even happening? And it just doesn't work that way.
And General Motors, they're going to all electric. What is it, by 2030? I think they said 2032, something like that.
I am not having an electric car. I'm not.
We are keeping our cars in shape as best as we can because I have a feeling they're going to.
Well, they'll just be obsolete. Like, are we going to be able to get parts for those? Probably not.
Yep. Yes, and I think California banned straw. Yeah, I think they did. And these paper straws suck. Excuse my language, but
they just fall
you
apart.
get like one drink. You get one drink, and then that's it.
Yeah. It's like the pixie sticks when you're a kid and you get them wet and then you can't get the sugar out of them anymore. They just fall apart.
Bring her to me. Come here. Sorry, Graham. Just a second. Here. The Graham puppy wants to say hi. You say
hello,
hi.
Graham
Yes,
puppy.
I know.
I love her ears.
Yes. Oh, we lost it for a second.
In Canada, it's the same. In 2035, we'll not be able to buy new gas car either. Not good. It's not good. But like, is this like everything else? Because imagine our grandparents at some point were sitting there going, I'm never going to have a debit card. I'm never going to blah, 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 blah. Like they refuse to do those things too. Yeah. Like maybe it's just going to all work out in the end. But for real, we're killing the planet. Like actually killing the planet, doing all of these things.
Yeah. Yeah. And they talk about electric cars and, you know, the same stuff that's in them is in air conditioners. You don't think that's
the
not
freon?
Like, come on. Like you can't be hypocritical. So,
right.
All right. I set you down. Yes. You're distracting. Oh. I'll tell you, it's like having a real human baby. I'm in the kitchen and she's at my feet and wanting to be picked up for a few minutes. I have to stop what I'm doing so I can pick her up.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely drive longer with the newer ones, but what they don't tell you is when the batteries go, it's $15,000 to replace the batteries.
Right. Nobody has $15,000.
And
I mean, if you do, I guess awesome for you.
The rapid charger from empty is 4 hours to
charge it. Oh.
Right.
Yeah. Then what? So you can't just run out of gas and go get a gas can and fill it up. You have to like charge it for a very long time before you can drive.
If you get really empty. Yeah. And that's
scary.
Yeah. Yeah. But well, if they're saying the cost will go down, but will it? And they say you get about 10 years. Well, we plan on this is our first time in our married life. We've had no payments on our cars. We like it.
Nice. We just got another payment because we needed a bigger vehicle again.
Yeah.
Next step is a bus, like actually a bus.
I know. But I guess we kind of get off the topic of our gardens and everything. But yeah, you just need to do your research is what I'm saying. I was all for it. And I'm like, gosh, I'd love to get a Tesla and not have to pay gas anymore, or oil changes and all that stuff. But when I look into it more, you're like, wow.
Well, I'm very much a not look into it person. So that's why I always get slammed with it. When Jake's explaining stuff to me, I'm like, but why are we doing that? How come no one's making that stop? Like, and so I just feel like we need to be like addressing the important stuff, like big and like out in the open. Like, so these are electric cars, but here's what's going to happen. Like, somebody needs to be like yelling it.
Yeah. I wish more people were talking about there was another food factory, organic food factory in the United States that miraculously caught fire again. What was it, a week or so ago?
It's not miraculously, and I don't know why anybody is still believing that. Like, this is why. What are their reasons that this is happening? Just suddenly all these factories are catching fire, and they all just happen to make food.
That was what, the eighth one this year. And,
right.
I mean, and even Azure Standard, they had their big warehouse caught fire, and they still haven't been able to figure out where it came from. A plane flew into one, for God's sakes. So
that's really original of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
The plane.
Oh no, we're still yammering. So I am going to ask the. Oh gosh, am I losing my internet again? Hold on, there I am. Sorry, it figures. Are we back? My internet's been fairly decent the last little bit, but I think it's really all the rain.
Oh yeah, I bet it is.
That's causing it tonight. Let me just make sure my router's on. Yep, blue lights, we're good. Come on, I got full bars. Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you, but I'm on StreamYard with you, so I don't know if the YouTubers can hear you.
Now you're frozen, Tanya, so I don't know if that's on my end or if you're frozen on your end.
Jake's gonna go look. All of it looks perfect to me.
I'm having issues.
I mean, your picture is a little grainy, but it's like, oh, now it's like buffering. I'm here by myself.
There. I guess I don't know what's going on. I'm buffering. Yeah, it's been great, of course. You know, for the last month, I've actually been able to upload 3 videos a week and everything. And of course, the first live I do in a month. So I just want to ask everybody in the chat here how their gardens are going. I know we're not the only ones having weather.
Not either. Like, people that garden, like, on a professional level are struggling just like we are. Like Danny and Wanda at Deep South Homestead. Jess has had some problems. Like, everybody is struggling. Yep.
So
I think we shouldn't like take this to heart. Like, we shouldn't let it get us down.
I stopped. Stress was making me very sick the last couple of weeks between the renos, just everything that's been going on. And I wasn't feeling well. And I'm like, I know what this is. This is stress. I said, Lynn, I was in the garden because I finally got a day in the garden, and a light bulb went off, and I went, you know what? Darn it. Lynn, you have no control over the weather. You have got to stop stressing over things you have no control over. If it means,
and we all know that that's what it is. Like, there's nothing that we did or didn't do.
Yep. And I'm like, there's, and like worrying about the roof not getting done because they're human beings. I get they cannot. Afternoon, it was so hot here. Like, the shingles were melting. Like they said, we can't even walk on these shingles anymore because they're melting. And I'm like, no. And like, we had ice water for them and everything, but it's brutal. Yeah. And I can't control that. I can't. And I'm like, maybe someday I'll be able to, but as of today, I cannot control the weather. And
we are having electric cars. So, it's very possible.
Maybe, but they say
it happens already. They're already saying that people are controlling the weather along with the food places catching on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, bigger is not always better. I've learned that too this year. I think next year, instead of trying to plant 120 pepper plants, maybe I just concentrate on like 30 or 40 and make sure they are like the healthiest can produce the most, I can.
That's another reason I like save seeds, because I'm saving seeds that are already like acclimated, and I save seeds from the plants that did really well here. Yeah. So that's why I don't want to go buy starts. Like there's a whole bunch of reasons why I don't want to go buy starts and just plant my seeds. But I think it's my pride that gets hurt the worst out of all of those, Like I know that it's going to do good with my seed.
Yeah. And I just wanted, I felt the stress this year of trying to put up enough, so we'd be okay. You know what I mean? Like I really felt the stress of making sure to have a really good garden this year. And I've never felt this kind of stress before from gardening. It usually is my de-stressor.
I think it's because so many people on so many channels, and maybe we don't watch the news, maybe on the news too, or TikTok or Facebook, are just kind of making it seem like Patera from Appalachia Homestead. I used to like her, watching her stuff, but now it's just all doom and gloom, and I just don't watch her. And because like none of those things are actually like happening, and maybe they will, but maybe we didn't need to go crazy planting all of these things is to the extent that we did.
And I don't know why, but I'm like, Lynn, why do and I even say it in my videos, there's no shame in starts if that's all you can do, because not everybody has a whole nother room where they can set up everything with the grow lights. Right. It was very difficult to live that way from March until June.
Yes, and it was.
Taking everything in and back out, back in.
Right.
Back
Someday
out,
I do want like a high tunnel or a greenhouse so I can do those things like out there.
Me too. It was exhausting bringing everything in and out, in and out, in and out. Like that was, I'd be in tears. I'm like, gosh, there's still like 12 more trays of plants.
I would literally be in bed and be like, oh my goodness, I did not water the beets. Like I have to go back out there and water everything.
Yeah. So I don't, and there's no shame in starts, and there's no shames in going to the farmer's market and supporting your neighbor.
I'm actually doing that because I'm going to see if anybody has any elderberries, or see if anybody has any sweet corn left, because I cannot grow corn.
I can't either.
I can, but I can't successfully grow corn. Like we get a couple of years and that's it. So and it takes so much space.
I grew corn. We grew corn twice. And the first picking, beautiful, gorgeous, tasted amazing. Second pickings, we go to pick them, infested with earwigs. Yeah, infested. I gave up. I don't do it, and I support our local. Our place that does the U-pick for the berries. They did U-pick corn this year too. It was
we're gonna do a U-pick apple at an apple orchard. Yep, I heard you talking about that, so I searched it, and they have those like U-pick strawberries, U-pick blueberries, and I did not know that was even a thing.
Yep. Oh yeah. So I got in the place we go to. They're great. They don't spray. They do everything they can as natural as can. So they're fabulous. Awesome. They're our neighbors. They're literally a 5-minute drive.
Yeah. So that's amazing.
I just want to do So we're going to the farmer's market this weekend because pears finally here. So I want to can a bunch of pears because Grace loves canned pears, and those little fruit cups and water. Yeah. So expensive. It's ridiculous.
Yes, they are.
How do you plan your garden? Do you figure out how many times you use it a year and then grow for that? So you plan how many times you eat potatoes a week? For me, yes and no.
I know. It's just a crapshoot for me. I just throw stuff in the ground and just preserve it, like all of it.
Yeah, I preserve all of it. And because if you preserve things properly, you get more than a year or two out of them. Awesome.
Right. I would really like what's it called that Shay Elliott has at the Elliott Homestead? What's that? What's she got? She goes down behind her, like under her house. What's that
root cellar?
A root cellar. I want one of those.
I'd love to have one. We've got our basement is not a basement. It's a crawl space. We could probably turn it into a root cellar.
We talk about doing it all the time because we 100% could.
I don't like going down there.
Me either. And it's like a fireman's like hole in the floor, and there's not even like steps. We have to use a step stool and like stick the step stool down in there in order to like get down in there. Ours is like not bad. It's got a cement floor but it's got the big hole where our sump pump is to pump out
all the water because we're on a high water table, and I don't like going down there. No matter what we do, we have a mice problem down there.
We don't have a foundation, so it's just dirt down there for us.
Ours is a foundation. Ours is a foundation. But
Yeah.
so, Jean, I guess to answer your question, for me, I plan some things. Like I know we eat bell peppers a lot. I love them because I use them in so many different recipes. So I plant just as many as I can because I know we're going to eat every one of them. I ate literally just used up last year's just a few weeks ago, the last bag that was in the freezer.
Yep.
So other things, I've also going to start giving my permission. If I don't like something, I'm not planting it anymore. I'm just I ground cherries because they were new to me.
Ground cherries. That's are you good with them? They took up so much room, and we did not get anything like they did all the things. The little berry was in the little lantern thing. We have 2 really big plants, and still nothing.
Didn't she say that she took out her ground cherries?
Did you take your ground cherries out?
Because they didn't utilize them enough?
No, mine are still like I just get enough every couple of days, and I've been throwing them in a freezer bag until I get enough to do something with them. I still don't know what I'm going to do. But you're right, like the amount of space they took up in my garden,
right?
Totally not. We don't like them enough for that. We just don't.
Maybe it was that you weren't going to do them next year.
Yeah, I'm not going to do them. I'm not going to do it. I still have a whole packet of ground cherry seeds, so I'll be donating them to somebody because I'm not going to plant them. They really took up. I can't get over. I'll have to do a video to show everybody just how big the sucker is. It is.
And I kept waiting and waiting, like we're gonna have all these ground cherries, like, and it just did not do that. I don't know if the birds are getting them or what's happening. A bit more for the insects.
And
don't forget to check direct with farmers and ask if you can buy seconds in bulk. Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping because I'd like to get like a bushel or 2 of pears, like seriously, because Gracie will eat every one of them. So, Remy, I have 5 kids, so I grow everything and I keep it up.
And now my dad, I'm not that we have to feed him because he's in a nursing home, but he doesn't get like home cooked anything unless I take it to him. Right. So now I take him stuff.
Yes, Mary Lynn, pears from Niagara region. That's where I get mine from, Niagara Falls region. They are amazing. And they have peaches from there. We're not peach people. We're not a big fan. Even though I got to say, your peach things you made looked really good.
Man, you don't like peaches. I was just telling Jake today, like we sat down for a minute before we had to do all the running around. I'm like, I think peaches are probably my favorite fruit. They're like so summery, but they're also very fall and wintry. So like you can eat them at any time.
I love the smell of them. Love the smell of them.
Oh, they're so good. And we eat them in the middle of the night.
Like if it's in a smoothie or something and it's blended up, but it's the texture thing with us, all of us. None of us really. Yeah. But that's both.
You cannot get past texture. Like that's why I don't like beans. I hate the texture of beans.
It's why
I don't mind the taste of them, but I hate the texture. It's like wet sandpaper to me.
Aiden's 15. When I was pregnant with Aiden, so 16 years ago almost. Bananas. Could not eat bananas with him. I still can't. I'm just now slowly cutting them up very, very thin and adding them to my yogurt. Like, and because I just could not. Something happened when I was pregnant and they just turned my stomach. Sorry, she's like bugging me.
I love bananas too. Bananas and peaches are definitely my favorite fruit. And Honeycrisp apples. I'm an apple snob. I really love Honeycrisp apples, but I will use any apple for like pies and whatever.
Me too. They always say, this is the best pie. When we go to the orchard, this is the best for pie. I'm like, I just buy the 3 varieties we like and I bake with them and we eat them.
Yeah. And Honeycrisp.
I just do.
I love Honeycrisp. We got 2 apple trees. Either one of them are going to make Honeycrisp, but I don't remember what they are. One of them is Johnny something and the other one's, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what apples we have.
I planted 2 Honeycrisp and I planted 2 Gala because that's what Grace loves. She loves the Gala apples.
I hate the Gala apples. They're just like spongy to me. They're just not crisp. They're not like.
It's the Galas you like, right, Grace? Yeah. Yeah. And then I love the Pink Ladies. Oh,
I do
they're
like using galas for like applesauces and stuff. But Ashton really likes applesauce, so we make a lot of that and use galas for that.
Yeah, I'm reading. I gotta look at this. This is how she lays. Like, she'll put her nose right down in the crook of your arm. Honestly,
He's like, it is bedtime. Why are you not sitting in the chair being cozy?
Yeah,
My dogs, that's why I sit in here when I'm doing my lives, because if I'm not in here, they will bother me until it's like, they're like, let's go to bed. It's time for me to sleep now.
Good night, Remy. Thank you.
Good night, Remy.
Yeah, no, so I'm giving myself permission. I mean, especially after watching Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead, I love her channel.
Me too.
I just, and I hate when she gets some of the hate she does. Never ceases to amaze me the things people think they can say to complete strangers.
How would anybody hate on anything that lady is doing?
And what business is of yours if she wants to have 8 or 25 children? Are you paying for them? Are you raising them? No. Then why do you care? Like, anyway, she was like, she said,
I need to go to her comment section then, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, stop being, oh, good night, Marilyn. Yes, I know you guys I think they're an hour ahead of me. So they're already, it's like 10:30 for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love when she said community sustainability, not self-sustainability, because like she said, that's what they used to do. People get together, especially the women, they'd all get together and can together.
Right.
And they'd all bring all the produce and stuff, and everybody would go home with some, and, they'd get some help. They go to this person to get this, and they go to this person to get that. And I think we've gotten really, at least I did, I got really caught up in not wanting to depend on anybody for anything. I want to do everything so I don't have to depend on anybody. Well,
right.
How's that working for you, Lynn? Not too damn well.
Right. For real.
Yeah.
I'm totally going to the farmer's market. We have not gone yet at all.
We haven't been all summer. I haven't been hardly. And Jean, I hate it too. I hate when people ask when you're having a baby, because you don't know. For all you know, they've been trying and they've miscarried.
Right. Or when you have 6 kids, you know what? The most, I hate this question. Every time we go somewhere with all the kids, they'll be like, what causes is that, right? I just want to smack somebody in the face for saying that. Like, yeah, somebody said that to Jake at work. Like, why? Why do you say that? Like, why would you? That's so rude.
Yeah, I just
like, no, we don't know what causes that. That's such a funny joke. Thank you for telling me the funny joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume is this Robin? I don't know if it's Robin or Dave, but yeah, I've got my first mean comment and my first Karen. So who left, which is fine. And I don't force anybody to be on my channel. So
maybe we should. I need to force them to be on my channel. Like, come to my channel.
Yeah, but I just, my grandmother and her family, there was like 18 or 19 kids all together. My poor grandmother, my great grandfather never left her alone.
Every time we go get groceries, the cashier will say, "Are you having a party? Are you having a dinner? Are you having a get together?" Like, no, Susan, these are just my groceries. I have a lot of kids.
I got a lot of kids I got to feed. So I love this. If you've got haters, then you're doing something right.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. I got some grief, Jean, from somebody for the puppy, because I went to a breeder. Don't tell anybody I went to a breeder. Oh my God, I'm a terrible human being. And, like, and I got a comment that I sprayed my garden. I sprayed my garden with organic soap, for goodness sakes.
And
the organic farms use the same stuff, because I was losing the battle with the squash bugs.
My brother literally sprays all the things on all of his stuff, and I don't care what he does. Spray your garden. It's your garden. I'm not spraying mine. Who cares what everybody else is doing?
Yeah. And I didn't use pesticides or anything. It's literally plant-based soap. I literally don't even rinse anything off. I sprayed. I eat it because it's plant-based soap. And it's not gonna.
What do they think is like in the dirt and stuff? There's more.
Yeah.
There's
she
more
gave
like
me a hard
living
time about the
life and
spray
a
and
teaspoon
going,
of.
yeah. Yeah, and what they, and like I told, like I felt like I had to defend myself, which I shouldn't have. But what they don't know is we tried finding a dog at a shelter for almost 3 years now. We seriously
Right.
have tried. Okay, the shelters have made it like you have to have
Everything but a
insane,
blood sample to get a
yeah,
dog. Yes.
like, you know, and I just, you know, I get they want to make sure they're going to good homes, but just because we don't have a huge fenced in yard doesn't mean we're a
Right.
bad home.
Right.
And they never had, we had to be careful. We already have a dog, and I didn't want to bring in an older dog because I wasn't sure what our dog would do with an older dog. He's been great
Right.
with baby, because we kept saying before she came, now there's a baby coming. Because we call her that around him, and he's been wonderful. And I
Right.
just make sure he still gets all his attention too. But and we got this dog because we're hoping eventually we're lucky that we have dog training here that does training to make your dog into a therapy dog. And that's what we're hoping for Grace, that she'll be a therapy dog to help Grace, so she can be a little more independent and get out and have, you know, Lily help her when she's, you know, feeling anxious and stuff. And people, you know, but oh no, you just, you know, and we researched this breeder because those are important to me too. I know there's bad breeders out there, and I know there's backyard breeders out there.
But there's also breeders out there that aren't intentionally doing things bad. Like I just had 2 litter of Great Pyrenees puppies like back to back, and I should never ever have let that happen. But it's not like I meant to, you know. And then I'm left with: do I abort the puppies or do I let her have them? You know?
Yeah, I just Jean's answer. Next time they ask you if you know what causes that, tell them, "Yep, sure do," and plan on having at least a dozen.
It's just that, like, why would you say that to someone? There was one lady, one time the kids' dad and I were at Walmart. The kids were all kind of little and running around and touching everything, you know. This lady was probably like 90 years old. And she's smiling real sweet and watching all the kids. Like, she wasn't annoyed by them. Anyways, she turns and looks at me. She's like, "You know what you ought to do, honey?" I said, "What?" She smacked James on the butt and she said, "Take him behind the barn and cut him." That's the only time I wasn't offended by anything. It was the funniest thing. Even James was like, "What? Why would you say that?"
Good internet. But yeah, I mean, they, you know, and there's nothing wrong with sheltered. And we actually rescued 2 dogs before. Like we've had rescue dogs because I would rather do that. Yes.
And sometimes shelter dogs are in the shelter because they have like emotional problems or behavioral problems. Like some people might have all the time and the resources to deal with that, but not everybody has that.
Yeah.
And that's not your fault. You don't have time to help an animal.
Yeah. And a lot of them too said cannot go to a home with other dogs. Well,
right
there took us right off the list because I'm not getting rid of my other dog.
Right.
So, you know, Holla Abby, there's actually, oh my gosh, and I don't think it was that far from you. Somebody on one of my groups I'm on shared that a family had a Great Pyrenees puppy they couldn't keep, and they were looking for a good home for him. And I mean, part of me was almost like, no, David will kill me. He will divorce me. I take this one. But I'll see if I can find the post. I'll do my best. If I can, I'll send it to you because I know we're on Facebook together too. Because I don't even know if they wanted money for it. I think they literally were just trying to find a good home for him.
We were about to do that with our last male. Like if after that last post that I made, if I didn't sell him, because I wasn't making money on this litter, mainly to like punish myself. Like, you shouldn't have let this happen. You should have done the things to make sure that she didn't get pregnant back to back. Like, you just need the vet costs and the food costs back. I made no money on these dogs.
Yeah.
And so if I didn't have somebody come through, and the reason I even charge money to begin with is because I don't want just anybody coming and getting one of my dogs. You know what I mean? Because then they will end up in shelters, and I don't ever want that. But he went to a good home, so I was super excited. Otherwise, I would have just given him away to somebody that would take care of him.
Right. Yeah, and I just want to say, and you know, if there are people out there who do make their living this way, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
If you know, the really good breeders, they love their animals and they
Right.
want, you know.
I love
and
all of
this
our
breeder,
dogs. Like I probably spend more time with my animals than my family. And like
I know.
I love the dogs, even when they're I sleep with her while she's having them. Like slept on my garage floor while she's having her puppies. You know, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, and like this breeder, she was amazing. Like we could not say, and Lily's brother went to, actually the way we found the breeder was a local lady was adopting one from her, and she put us in touch with her. And we've been talking back and forth to see how our puppies are doing. Her puppy's name is Ralphie, which is just so cute.
That's cute.
And she was saying, she goes, I can't get over this breeder. I said, oh, we were so impressed with them. The puppy package they sent us home with was like more than we ever hoped for. We thought we'd just get the vet stuff and that was it. She gave us pictures of Lily's mom and dad. She gave us pictures of each week of Lily's life, plus the vet stuff. She gave us like 5 brand new toys.
That's awesome.
She gave us so much, like we were shocked. Just and
I can't give our puppies toys because they literally will ruin them.
Yeah,
I should send them with like a cow bone
and frame them. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah, I just reading some of the comments here.
I call my brother and say I need to read. Patterdale. What's a Patterdale pup? I've never even heard of that.
I've never.
I want to
Google either. I don't know what that. I know. That's what I'm gonna.
My Wi-Fi wasn't working on the laptop earlier.
But no, so, but Tanya kind of said a few things to her.
That's because I am a mean girl at heart. And when people say things out of context or they shouldn't be saying them, I will rip their faces off.
But no, there's nothing wrong with people making a living off of, like I said, because when they're a good breeder, they're good.
Right. My grandma used to breed dogs, and they're like the best people I've ever known. Talk about everything. And they only stopped breeding dogs because my grandma was sick. Her thyroid was bad. And my grandpa had to take a litter of puppies to the airport that they were shipping to somebody that they shipped dogs to. And like my big mean old grandpa like cried because he didn't want to put these puppies on the plane. And he came home and told grandma, like, we will never do this again. We can't do this anymore. I cannot send puppies away like that ever again.
Oh, I'm just reading Jean saying what they are here. But yeah, they're a terrier, and American and Exeter Terriers are new to less than 10,000 registered. Wow.
Yeah, we used to hunt with our rat terriers. They would tree raccoons for us. We used to hunt raccoons.
Even dachshunds. That's what they're primarily were bred for.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're so funny, you. She's passed out asleep in my lap. Got her face shoved right down in the crook of my arm.
So
very
cute.
But she's so snuggly, and that's what you want in a dog, right? Especially when it's going to be a therapy dog. But I just like people always talk and they don't always know the story, and you shouldn't make comments to people and stuff, and unless you know the whole story.
I watch Gary Vaynerchuk a lot, and I need to maybe learn from him because he's all about responding with kindness, like even to the haters, like take a second and respond with kindness. But I'm so like aggressive that I can't. It's hard for me to do that. So sometimes I like try to word things nicer than what I would say them normally. But maybe people need to think about that when they're commenting things, like maybe don't be mean in your comments.
Yeah. I know with me when I used to work in retail and somebody would be nasty, I'd always just keep smiling. Just keep, have a good day. Have a good day. I
managed like many restaurants and I couldn't. I'm just like mean. Never to elderly people. I draw a line. I'm never ever disrespectful to elderly people ever.
I will
even
say,
if they're being parents.
my old job I used to work at, I was the only woman. I never worked with all men before, and I loved it. And I worked at a garage / towing service. Sometimes we'd have some pretty ticked off people, you know?
Oh, yeah, I bet.
And I never was worried because every one of those guys with the big window, one time I had a really bad aggressive guy that was scaring me. I look in the back and there's one of the guys with a baseball bat. Just so they're like, don't worry, Lynn, we got you. They come in there. One guy came in and said, Lynn, everything okay in here? And the guy's just like, I'm just like, he totally changed his attitude. And I thought, you SOB.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, no, I loved it. It was great working with all guys. I'd never done it before, and it was good most of the time. Sometimes it was interesting, but it was like having my daycare again.
And gross. Boys are yucky. All boys are yucky.
But Hala, I just have to say, your husky, because I follow you, I watch your videos, and I follow you on Facebook. Their husky is hysterical. She steals the tomatoes out of their garden.
Nice. My brother Skipper Key does too. We have 2 Skipper Keys, but my brother has one, and he literally sent me a picture the other day of their slicing the tomatoes to make to can and whatever. He did it out on the porch. He's like, I don't remember what he said. Something about like, peel a few tomatoes, make sure Trooper's not eating them. Peel a few more tomatoes, make sure Trooper's not eating them, because he kept stealing them out of the bowl.
Oh my gosh. But that is not typical for a husky to be so good around chickens. Like usually,
No.
You know, I know my husband growing up, their neighbor's husky kept getting away and killing their, chickens and stuff. So
I love huskies.
And she gently takes them off the vine. That is so it's so hysterical. I know my cousin's pug, her pugs, they dug up all her potatoes last year. And she'd see them running around eating a raw potato. And she's like, you darn, like she didn't get a single potato last year because the dogs got them all.
That's cool though. At least they were having fun. Like, sure,
I love huskies because they do talk to you. They absolutely do, so just a lot of fur.
I have a lot of fur. I have so much fur that they just have to be outside. I let Bella in here last night. I don't know what it is about Bella. The other ones, I don't like feel sorry for them. But Bella looks at me like, please let me in for a minute. And I let her in here and she laid on my bed. Whoa, look how many eggs we got.
Oh, wow. Holy cow. Wow.
Anyways, like I put her back outside relatively quickly, like 10 minutes of being on my bed. I'm like, okay, you just have to go. Like hair exploded all over my bed. I had to change the bedding and stuff today. It was not awesome.
I remember when I crochet, sometimes I always tell people, the dog hair is free. I do my best, but sometimes those hairs get right into the weave and I pluck them out as much as I can. But sometimes I just can't, because Puggy's got hair, not fur. Like he's got these hairs. So
yeah.
Oh. I'm just reading why she's so good with the chickens.
That's a good idea, though. That's a really good idea.
Gonna get shot.
My kids' dad has a French bulldog, and for like 9 months he stayed with us because he works over the road, right? Well, it was like winter time, so he just stayed here with us. And his French bulldog would go after those chickens and get them. And he's a fast little thing. So if we would have had one of those, we got him a shot collar. And eventually he stopped. But if we would have had one of those like Premier One fences, I'm sure that would have saved a lot of craziness from happening.
Yeah, we had a bark collar for Puggy. It didn't shock him. It just made a high-pitched sound.
Right. These just vibrate. We only had to shock him once, actually. And then because it sends a vibration first, like, and then it will shock. So after that vibration, he just never did it again. But
Puggy just got used to that. Even though it got up to the highest level of noise, it eventually he just like, I'm gonna bark. It's
or his hearing just was like, goodbye. I cannot hear this anymore.
Yeah, maybe. Oh my gosh. But I just back to our gardens real quick, and I had to remind myself. I got to thinking, because my mom's like, Lynn, I was here last year at the end of September, and you were just then starting to do a lot of your canning with your tomatoes. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So I'm like, Lynn,
I don't think we're too far off. I think a lot of people are kind of early, especially people we watch on YouTube.
Yes.
I don't know, because we were talking about that the other day. Like some of them are just very Now I don't want to say fake because that's not what I'm trying to say, but very like planned, like a show, like a TV, because I mean that's essentially what it is, you know. They go from being like amateurs like us,
Yeah.
baking bread in their kitchen, to they've got some like legit viewers, and so maybe that's what they have to do in order to keep up and keep people engaged.
Yeah. I you know, do you keep a gardening journal?
We do.
Always start off doing it.
And that's another reason videos are good, because then you can just go back and look like, what did I do with the eggplants last year? Or how well did they do?
I think that's why, what was the last thing I wrote? Let me see. I wrote, when I started hardening off my starts.
Mainly my journals are what the plant is, the days to maturity, when I planted them, and if they did well or not.
That is what I started. When I started all my starts, I started the day and how long it's supposed to take to maturity. So
yeah.
Not too
but we
bad.
did have like a 7-year winter. Like maybe our craziness came from, it was just a really terribly long winter, and we just like, let's grow all the seeds so we can have spring inside of our house for a little while. Like we were just really wanted it.
Yeah. And but I mean, definitely having the videos this year kind of made me a little bit lazier with the gardening journal. Cause like you said, I can go back and look. I just want to make a comment. I ordered some of my garlic today for my fall planting, and I had to go to 3 of my different places I get my seeds and stuff from to get some. They out everywhere.
I just use garlic from the store every single year. Oh,
I couldn't hear what you said. Was that my internet?
I just use garlic from the store every year. I never buy seed garlic. I mean, it's literally just garlic. There's no difference.
Yep, I know, Grace. I know. And it's probably going to bump me off again.
Recording memories for school. Right? Same. 0. You need all the petting? Your claws are hurting me. Anyways, can you hear me now? Oh, she can't. Yeah. Your claws are hurting my skin. I don't have a regular shirt on. It's hurting. It's hurting me. It's hurting me, Carol.
No. It's on. Where is she? I think I might have lost it for good this time, Grace.
I can still see you, but I'm on StreamYard. Maybe it's not YouTube. Like it's different. You're all, I can't hold you. You're hurting my skin. You ever considered Starlink for internet? I highly recommend. Right? We ours are different than I'm sure hers are. But we went through several internet companies before we finally had one that wasn't garbage. Right, wait, we have 3 people? Oh.
There, I'm back.
It looked like 2 people were coming up. It had 2 screens for a second.
Yeah, it's still there. I called Starlink because I didn't even know they were in our area. Apparently they've been in our area for 3 years. I had no idea. It was an absolute secret. They want $360 down payment to hold your place, and they said it would probably be 3 years before they can get us onto it because of the waiting list. And I'm like, well, I'm not forking over almost $400.
I mean, but why? Do they not have employees? Like, what is the holdup? Like, what? They surely don't have so much work. If they do, they need to hire more people, because that's ridiculous. Yeah. And nobody can have a successful business making people wait 3 years. That sounds scammy to me. Well, pay $1 million and wait 3 years. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. To me, it's like where we are, it's ridiculous. We're not even that rural. And it's a bunch of BS because we're paying what we are because we have no choice. So why would they be in any hurry to make it better?
That alone tells me they're not good people.
Yeah. Yeah. And just back to the garlic, like I was saying, to me, I usually save some of my garlic from like every year and just replant it. But part of me, I might do a little bit, but a lot of it I want to keep for eating, like through, through the
I
winter.
literally just go to the store and buy however much garlic I want to plant, and that's it. I just keep it through the winter, and then it starts sprouting, and then or through the fall, and then it starts sprouting. And like I would say, October is when we plant it. Like October, like right before the first frost is when we put it down.
Yeah, I can't believe you guys could still see me because I couldn't hear anything Tanya was saying.
Yeah, I can totally still see and hear you.
Hello, Abby, that's what we have. And yes, that's what I deal with. Except, knock on wood, the last 3 weeks, ever since the Every Bit Counts challenge started, my uploads have been like insanely faster. Like taking 2-3 hours instead of 24, 28 hours. So that's why I've been doing
insane.
videos.
I get like testy when mine takes like 20 minutes to upload. Like, and I'm like, come on, what is the holdup?
And everybody has to turn off all their everything to give
we
me.
Had to go through several internet providers before we finally got one that wasn't giant poop.
Yep. We have 3 options. 2 said that we're too far away from their tower, so it won't do any good. And then we're with the other option. So we waited 1.5 years. Yeah, I believe me, I have teenagers. If I could have better internet, I would.
Right. It's a matter of life and death with the kids.
I'm so tired of hearing about, and I hate to complain because compared to what we had until last year, this is like amazing. We couldn't even have streaming last year. I wouldn't have been able to do this a year ago. And we got this internet.
Man, that is crazy to think about, that it just might not be an option for people.
Yep. And they found out during lockdown, the school had to provide us with internet for the kids because our internet was not good enough for them to do school. It was not.
That's when we had poopy internet too, and we had the same thing.
But like, Holla Abby, like, do you still pay a monthly fee too, right? You paid the money up front, and then there's how much is it a month after that?
Ours is $56 a month for our internet, and we have 6 kids, so all of us are always streaming all the time. And that's not even like our Alexas or all of the other stuff, our TVs that the kids have, Xboxes, like lots of internet happening here. We
pay $135 a month for what we have for internet. It is totally unlimited. Like, it's totally unlimited.
Right.
But 2 of us really can't be streaming something at the same time if we're watching something.
No, I would definitely be getting my money back. Like, I need Wi-Fi. Yeah. This is a potato. Yeah. I need like Wi-Fi signals.
And we call every month. Oh, the new tower's getting upgrades. Well, it got delayed because of COVID. And I swear to God, they're just David thinks they keep trying to shine us on because he thinks something's around the corner. Either the fiber optic is finally going to come further down, because they did come out here, but they stopped at a certain point in 2019. And because of COVID, they haven't been able to finish. He thinks
why? Why? Because of COVID, have they not been able to finish?
I know.
I need answers. I need them. I'll call them. Can I call Canada from my phone?
Yeah, it's like
just put them on my list of why.
Yeah,
ask questions.
So tired of that being an excuse. It's been
same. Our food is bad because of COVID. We don't have stuff put away because of COVID. Like the rest of us still have to survive too, and we're doing just fine. Like, what is happening?
Holla Abby, that's the kind we did have up until last August. We'd only get like 100 gigabytes of data a month. So Aiden couldn't do any Xbox because he'd play 20 minutes of a game and he'd use all our data for the whole month.
Oh my goodness. My kids are literally on Xbox, all of them, all the time.
It was terrible. And we would call them and say, like, they're like, oh, well, to make up for it, we'll restart you this month. And David's like, if you can do that, why aren't you doing it anyway?
Right.
Like, why do we have to call and complain? And then you give in and like, oh, we feel bad. So you feel like you're giving us something. He could never understand Yeah, they can't. That's what they're saying. They can't get the parts they need for this other tower they're building. And the other tower, we'll be able to see it. It's like right at the top of our hill. And they've been telling us for almost 2.5 years now that it's behind.
That could be very true because the chicken lady with the fly spray, they cannot get the fly spray through the supplier. And I did a bunch of researching and she's actually correct. Like this fly spray is like non-existent and she can't get it. We can't get it. It's just poof.
There's definitely supply chain issues still going on. Like it's crazy. Still crazy. And so that's part of the problem. They can't get the parts. And it's so frustrating because we can see the tower they're building. And it's like, oh my gosh, can you imagine?
But at least you know that it's going to happen.
Yeah. But David says the second another option comes, we're telling ExploreNet they can take it and shove it. And we're switching.
Yes.
Well, I told David if everybody leaves ExploreNet, we might stay with them because if everybody leaves them, we'll be one of the few on it and it'll probably be faster than ever. Right?
You could power your house with it, like everything. Yep. You could get a Wi-Fi powered stove.
Yeah. Well, 2020, what it really showed here in our province that there is still very much a disparity with Wi-Fi. And just assuming every kid was able to do school from home was crazy. I mean, there are still people in our area that have dial-up.
Well, I didn't even know dial-up was still even a thing.
My mother-in-law, my in-laws in New Brunswick have dial-up.
In her top drawer of her dresser by her desk. Were you searching for it with a flashlight? He asked for Callie's been in her mom's all summer because her mom gets her during the summer. And today's her first day back since forever ago. And I cleaned her room through the summer and she couldn't find her phone charger.
You can't find everything. Yeah. I just love, I will say when we call and complain to them, even and the people we're calling, they're just sitting at home taking orders and stuff. They have nothing to do. We get it. They even apologize. They even know how crappy their service is.
Right.
And I even tell them, I'm like, no, it's not your fault. And they're like, we appreciate that. We get yelled at a lot. And I'm like, there's no sense yelling at you. It's not going to change anything. Right. I'm just telling you, I've had to reset my internet. What is it? Today is Wednesday. I've had to reset it 6 times already this week. Because that's when the teenage boy will come out of his room. Is something wrong with the internet?
Yep. If our Wi-Fi goes out, there was a last week our Wi-Fi was down. A lot of times the fiber cable gets cut when they're like putting tile in the fields or whatever. So it knocks out the Wi-Fi for sometimes over a day. Like, and these kids lose their whole lives.
I know. It's almost fun. It's comical.
It is.
But it is, the fact of the matter is, it is 2022 and you have to have internet nowadays.
Right, for everything.
You have to have it for everything. My grandmother, who is 93, she can't come over to Canada to visit because she does not have a cell phone to get that stupid ArriveCan app. So she can't come over to visit her daughter and her 2 sons who live over here. She can't come over because she doesn't have that ArriveCan app. Now, my dad is in Maine right now visiting, so he's going to get it put on his phone for her so he can take her over so she can come over and visit and stuff. But it's crazy for them to assume everybody has that. And there's some people who don't have the money to have a cell phone.
Right. That's what it was here. It definitely wasn't like there was no Wi-Fi available for like the town kids. There are kids in town that absolutely could not afford to have Wi-Fi.
No.
Not the kids, the parents.
I had a friend who was really upset too because they assume every kid has a cell phone. So they send all the homework out, all the app now. It's an app now. I had to get it. The kids had to get it. In a way, it's good because you do get to see what the assignments are and what they pack them in. But they just assumed every kid had one. And there are some kids who don't have one. There absolutely is.
Or like their schedules. They can pull up their schedules even during like meet the teacher night or whatever, find your locker night. They were like, you can just go on Infinite Campus and blah, 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 blah. Like, I personally know some kids that don't have phones, you know?
And I will be honest, Aiden is only 15, and the only reason he has one is because of his special needs. Because my thing was always, until you can help pay for it yourself, you're not getting one.
Well, mine was way different. Because I have so many kids, and I have them like sprinkled out all over the place sometimes at the same time. I needed to be able to communicate with them like, I'm going to be there in 5 minutes. Stay there, you know. That's the only reason they had phones so early.
Yep. And I will tell you, that's another thing here in Canada. We pay a fortune for cell phone service here.
Oh, yeah.
Fortune.
We do too. Gold bars of payments to the cell phone companies.
So we've got 4 phones, and we don't have unlimited data here in Canada. It's not a thing.
Oh my goodness. Right. Pair that with your crappy Wi-Fi. That's literally the worst.
I will say what we have is I've got 50 gigabytes of data on my phone. What they do is once you reach 50, they don't charge you more. They just slow it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have 50. Everybody else has 40. I'm not sure how I got 10 more than everybody else. I don't know how that worked. I didn't do it on purpose, but I don't know if you're asking me or Tanya, Jean.
I have 6 kids.
She's got a half dozen. My grandmother has 6 grandchildren, and she calls them her 6-pack.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what she calls them.
That's very awesome.
Yeah. So, and I pay a little bit more for mine because I also have American long distance because obviously I need that from. So I pay like $5 more a month to have that. Anyway, all of our 4 phones, all that we pay almost $400 a month.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I hate it. I mean, I've cut back on everything I can because the stupid cell phone bill is so high. And it's my parents.
And if you like get behind on your cell phone bill, you might as well just like go to a different company because you're never going to catch it up.
My parents have 5 or 6 people on their plan because they've got some of the grandkids on their plan too. And they do have unlimited, like truly unlimited. Mom was able to use her phone here in Canada, completely unlimited. I don't even think they're paying $300 a month.
We pay a lot. We pay a very lot.
You've got what, 8 people on a plan? So
yes, a billion. But Jay and Raylan will start paying for theirs soon. Like both of them work. Raylan doesn't go to school. Jay's done with school, so they can work.
Well, that's the plan. You know, when you guys start working, you're gonna definitely start helping. So because it's
then one day I'll be able to get all of the things I want to get. I'll be able to afford it.
Yep. So okay, guys, I feel a little bit like we went off topic a bit. So just to wrap it up, I'm gonna say our harvest, what we hoped they were gonna be back in May and June. I'll let you answer.
Definitely wasn't what I thought, but still, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. I'm just not as I just didn't get as much as what I thought of certain things. Of other things, I got plenty. Potatoes did amazing. Tomatoes are doing amazing. Our eggplants, I better get pumpkins. Like if I can grow successful pumpkins, I will call this a great season.
Yeah, I'm just reading the different. I will say it's definitely not where I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm disappointed either because I'm definitely still being able to put food up.
Right.
Like, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. Anyone needs basil? Lynn has more basil than a whole neighborhood.
Same. And cilantro. So much cilantro.
Now, see, my cilantro bolted because it got so hot so quick. So I'm hoping.
I planted mine like in the shade kind of by my fence. I'll show you tomorrow where it's at. Okay. It got like half the day of shade.
Mine didn't get mine was more in the shade too, but I think it still got too much sun. I'm hoping it will come back in the fall. Like I cut it back and let it seed. So I'm hoping I'll get some more out of it in the fall because I got none to put away. But the basil loves the heat. Like it loves.
I think my basil is like tree size now. Like I've already gotten so much basil and I just let it go. And it's so big.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I feel guilty not harvesting all of it, but I literally do not think I need any more.
I just like keep letting it do the things because I'll feed whatever to the chickens.
Yes,
so anything that we are,
yes, they love it.
Yeah.
So I mean, and you know, like you said, it's really nothing we could control. It was weather issues this year.
Absolutely.
It definitely played a big part, and that's what everybody is saying. It definitely played a big part. And I think I'm going to have more of a success with my fall garden planting than I did. I'm definitely
seeing
for sure. peas like are coming up like crazy. I got a whole
Same.
bunch more yellow
And green
beans.
beans and carrots.
Yep.
I have a whole bunch of
Carrot.
turnips that are about ready.
It's
Yeah.
funny because the carrots I planted in the spring took forever to germinate.
Same.
Forever. And I do have some. I'm just letting them go. I'm going to go let them go as long as I can, because they actually say they taste sweeter if they actually go through a frost.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not even worrying about harvesting you until like October. Just stay there. But the ones I planted just a few weeks ago for fall planting, they've already germinated and they're growing like crazy. I'm like,
I know. Mine are already like up and like look like carrots. You can tell what they are.
Yep. They're the same seeds.
Yep.
It's saying
And the bug pressure is way less when you plant in the fall. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'll know better for next year. I might even save squash next year for fall, because then all the squash bugs are done too.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely learned some things. So
that's what it's about.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm would I wish it had a little bit more? Yes, but I am going to go ahead and frequent my farmers markets.
Same.
Because though they may not be as good either, because they've had the same weather issues as we've had. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what they actually have Saturday. I'm really kind of interested in the prices.
Right. I know. If the price isn't good, like, I don't know if I can still justify it. But it's got to be better than, I don't know. I'll pay more for like farmers market stuff than stuff at the grocery store. It's
got to be better than, say, what they're going to cost us in December.
Right. Oh, yes. That's true.
That's kind of why
you need to like look at all the factors, not just immediately like what's happening right then in front of your face. Like look at all the factors.
And I will say, Jean, I actually made pesto for the first time ever, and I love it. I made it with the cashews. So I got quite a bit of that already frozen for the winter that I made with the basil. But I love basil. I mean, I cook with it a lot, and I've dried a ton of it because I use it in my, homemade pizza sauce and spaghetti sauce. It just, I didn't expect every seed I planted to germinate.
Yeah, basil did awesome.
It did really good. So
and then continued to do awesome once they got planted.
Yeah, I think next year I'll do half the amount of basil. I probably won't have any.
Right.
So, all right, guys. Well, I'm glad my first live is back. I miss doing them. Hopefully, once I'm going to be starting back up my She-Steaders group too. And I'm going to be asking you, Tanya. I'm going to ask different women. Like, it's not going to always be the same 4 or same 3. It's always going to be me. So you're always going to get me, but it'll be the same 3 different. So I've been piling some names and stuff. So I'm hoping to have different, because everybody has a different story. Everyone has a different view on it. And I've had a lot of people ask me. Actually, I've had a few people say, "Are you going to do that again?" Absolutely. I love doing it, and it's nice to have a woman's perspective, because sometimes I think we get too much of the man's perspective, and we do have a different role in homesteading.
Yeah, 100%.
There's nothing sexist about it.
No, just is. That's just life. That's just, I mean, that's just how it is. Yeah, nobody should be upset about it either. Literally no one should be upset about that.
No. So yeah, I miss doing my lives too, Jean. So thank you I did enjoy visiting with my mom. So now she's home for 2 weeks all by herself, because my dad took off to Maine. So she's enjoying herself. It's been very hot in Florida, but they've got a pool. So she's been swimming every evening, sending me pictures and rubbing it in. So, all right, guys, have a great week. And
good night, everybody.
We'll do lots more. Look for a new video tomorrow. I got my next Every Bit Counts challenge video. I got to finish editing it actually right now.
And start uploading it maybe tonight.
I will. I'm gonna. All right, guys, take care. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
And